1 second, please.
I'm sorry, what?
1 second, please.
What happened?
I thought I was connected to YouTube and...
Oh, you're not connected to the YouTube.
And the only reason I say that is because you'll want things to line up so that when you...
Yep. No, it's fine.
I am now connected. So now you can go.
All right.
Did you stop hitting record and did you just...
Not on the mixer, no.
Okay,
the mixer is still recording.
Okay, I'm good. Let's go.
All right, let's do this. I forgot how the thing went. When am I supposed to talk? All right, hold on.
So
it's been a while.
Are we staying on record on the mixers, or are we like?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Friday night, 10:40 p.m. in the East, streaming live on Pride48.com. It's time for The Mix. My name is Daniel Brewer. I do not do this show alone. I do it with my best friend, just as forgetful as I am, Adam Verns. Hi, Adam. How are you this evening?
I feel like the chat room should just be grateful that we're giving them so much extra content before we start the show.
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking. We had a little comedy of errors there. You and I have not recorded this show together for a month, and I completely forgot how to do the intro, and we had to do it a couple of times. And anyway.
Look, I will admit, I'll just say this. I'll just say this right now. I said it to the chat room before, but I just want to pull back the curtain.
Say it.
I am a procrastinator.
Mm-hmm.
It is not, and Auntie Scott makes jokes about, how long have they been podcasting and they don't know how to do this stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
Most times it is that I just have not sufficiently prepared, because the things that we do require video and audio and recording and having Discord and topic.
There's
like
a
all
lot
of
of moving parts. Yeah,
right?
There's a lot of moving parts.
And so what I do, I was literally Velcroing / taping foam to the wall behind me 15 minutes before you called me. Right? Yeah. Because for the video, I wanted to, I didn't want to.
Yeah, because it doesn't help with the sound at all. But
because it's behind
just for the
me.
video.
It's behind. Now I do have foam on the wall in front of me as well, or like to the side, but the one behind me is purely for looks. Yeah. And so when I get, there are a few things like the iPad wasn't charged. Oops. Not a technical, there's no technical issue. I know how to charge an iPad.
I mean, it's been a month.
But it wasn't charged.
Those things last. I'll charge my iPad.
Not that one.
And then I'll forget to plug it in all week long, and then I'll go pick it up in the next show, and it'll still be at 32% or something. Now, granted, I don't use my iPad much during the week. Well, yeah. So I think there's, something that you did want to say right at the top of the show, Adam.
I would like to thank, first of all,
I'm glad that this isn't forced at all. I'm glad that I'm not forcing you to do this at all, that this is a spontaneous thing that you wanted to do.
I would like to thank you, first of all, for being a friend, for being my best friend.
Being a friend.
Travel down the road and back again.
Mm-hmm.
Is it your heart is pure? You're a pal and a confidant? Your heart is pure?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what anyway, all of that. And I want to thank you for filling in on Geeky Gay for me.
I did. 5 days a week.
This is not Geeky Gay, but I just want to say we have a listener, and I feel like I hurt people's feelings, and I don't mean to hurt their feelings, because honestly, I said on Geeky, I did not say it on Mix Minus. I realize I'm crossing the streams here, but we have a lot of joint listeners. We'll just assume that everyone listened to that episode of Geeky Gay. One of our listeners, you shortened the Geeky Gay theme song.
I did.
Right?
I did.
And I said, you know what? A few people have said it was too long and that they even tell Pocket Casts or whatever to start their recording 30 seconds in or something.
I was amongst those people, yes.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to take one for the team and I am going to just use that shortened one. And then on an episode.
You do know we're not streaming, right?
We are streaming.
On YouTube. Not on YouTube.
We are streaming.
We may be, we're streaming to your Geeky Gay channel then because we're not streaming on the Mix Minus channel.
No, we are on. Oh,
I'm looking at the.
We're on Pride 48.
Okay. We don't need to stop it. Chat room, just go to the Pride 48 YouTube channel to watch the live thing.
Now
that's fine. I can still get it from there.
That was a technical snafu.
Right.
Anyway, so
do you have a do we have a link to the Pride 48
I can,
YouTube channel? YouTube.
I can. Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, great.
So,
thank you.
Oh,
that was you. I don't know why I said it so patronizing. Thank you.
So
I became like an old woman.
Basically, and I won't name names, but this listener had said, had written in the level 13 chat, hey, Daniel, could you make it even shorter? Like just do tick, tick, tick or whatever like that. And then that's it. That's all I want to hear, you know?
Yep.
So I probably, because my episodes are very short, I probably spent the entire episode. I didn't feel like I was like berating this person. Mm-hmm. I was saying that there are some things about me that people know. I'm a people pleaser, but in my brain, I get mad. Now, I'm not mad at him, but I'm just saying like this emotion is there, you know, I'm like, I've got to do this because I want to please somebody. But then, and I made the comment, I'm like, but you know what? Hell no, I'm not using a shorter. Anyway, and then he put this whole, I felt so bad because then he put this whole explanation. So person who I'm not going to name, I'm sorry if I did not mean to take my platform and berate you. Is berate a word? Beguile, berate,
yes. Berate,
yes. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I love you. Now, so that's taken care of. Now I want to thank some other people.
Gary, just click on the Adam posted the link right there. You can just click on it in the chat room.
So Mad Angry. Cyclone. I don't know how to remember how to podcast live. Cyclone in the chat room says mad or angry. I think they're interchangeable. So anyway, now what I would like to do is I heard part of both the episode with Zach and the episode with Auntie Scott. They both did fantastic jobs. I am comfortable leaving my seat to either one of them.
I see.
When I go in the future, and I would like to thank them for filling in and giving our listeners something to listen to.
You know, let me tell you, I deeply appreciate both my partner Zach and my dear friend Auntie Scott filling in for you while you were gone. I had fun. The episode that I did with Auntie Scott, it felt like a really good episode of That Darn Elvis. You know what I'm saying? Like when we were hitting our marks and we were
show was that?
Kind of grooving. It was an old podcast called That Darn Elvis that I used to do with Auntie Scott. But the point is, I felt like, I thought it was a pretty good episode there. I thought the one with Zach was good. And but let me tell you, not Archer. Archer loves you, Adam Burns. Archer only listens to this show to hear you.
Aww.
Because he said I listened to like 5 minutes of Daniel and Zach and it was boring, so I skipped off. Now
he said it was boring?
He said it was boring on his podcast that we were playing in the truck as we were going along. Zach is now hearing feedback from his filling in for you, and here's Archer telling poor Zach that he's boring and that he gave up. But I feel he's just so into you, Adam. He's like, he is so into you That is the only reason he listens to this show is to hear you.
I don't know what Archer means, but in the chat room, he's saying, "Don't sell me out, Daniel. Adam is the one."
Archer, you said it on your show. You said it on your show.
I didn't say anyone was boring. What? How am I the one?
No, I'm saying Archer said on his show that he listened to it and that it was boring.
Well, I'm going to take it as a compliment, and I'm going to say, thank you, Archer, for enjoying me as a podcaster. B, I want to say, I thought Zach did a lovely job. But I will say this.
Yes.
I've been podcasting, and not that I'm a fantastic not that I'm a fabulous. If I was, I would be making my living podcasting. However,
yes,
we've been podcasting for like 15 years or something. You know?
Yes.
And Zach has only been podcasting for what?
Yeah.
3 or 4, you know? And it was a live. How many times has he had a live audience? Not very many times. You know, that's something you have to get used to. They complain. Yeah. They talk about how long it takes you to set up your shit, you know? So I think you did an admirable job. And I think, but one thing I did want to say though, cause I remembered this as we were talking.
Yes.
Didn't Auntie Scott have some technical difficulties and you guys had to start late? On the night that you recorded?
I can neither confirm
because I just want to say, because
actually, you know what? No, wait, hold on. No, because Auntie Scott and I met up early to get those technical difficulties resolved. By the time that it was 10 o'clock, we were done. Hold on.
No. It started late. No. It started
every
late.
Every single show, I say the time. So I don't know the answer to this. I'm going here late. Right now. Mix Minus Podcast, episode number 124. Let's find out, shall we? Let's just find out here. Friday night. What time? 10:07 p.m. 10:07, Adam. 10:07.
Did you lie? Because I distinctly remember looking at the chat room and seeing like a message, we're starting late, but we are doing a show or something like that. Maybe it was a mad dream. Mm-hmm. It could have been.
It must have been. Maybe I could shorten that music. Yeah,
but I love Auntie Scott, and I would never complain about Auntie Scott's technical problems.
Thousands upon thousands of people tune into this show each and every week for one reason only. They are obsessed with my running journey. They want to know how I get my fat ass up off the couch and run. So far, I have run a couple of 5Ks and the Disney 10K and the July 4th 10K. I don't have a September race lined up right now. I had this really good thought, right? I was Googling around for September races, and I found this race in Santa Monica that happens September. And it happened to coincide with a night that they were doing the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland. And I'm like, oh, and I could, go and harass Auntie Scott again. And we could go and do this 10K on Santa Monica, on the beach. And it's the Pride 48 weekend. So
wait, Santa Monica as in California?
Yeah. So
you wanted to fly to California just to do a race and then go to Disneyland?
Well, I wanted to go to the Oogie Boogie Bash, but if I could, get 2 birds with 1 stone, right? If I could do a race and a thing like that. So I haven't found a September race at this point. We do have our November race coming up. Anyway, as we left off was my last running update. I purchased a treadmill so that I can run inside because it's like running in a sauna outside right now in Florida. And I did have that one time this last session last Thursday where I actually ran through 2 cycles without stopping, which meant that I ran straight for 5.5 minutes. I haven't been able to repeat that this week. But last Thursday, I guess I had it was a good running day because it was actually kind of cool to actually have run for five full minutes, something I never would have imagined I could have done even a year ago, to be able to run that far without dying or whatever. So anyway, we are continuing on our July 4th race pace. If you guys will remember, was 2 minutes and 10 seconds running and 1:30 walking. I've held that pace steady, but starting on Tuesday, I'm going to be starting to raise that every week by about 10%. So working our way towards, 3 minutes, 1.5 minutes, which I think will be my next milestone. Anyway, there you go. That's the world famous running update, Adam.
I missed those. I actually, while we were on our vacation, I said, hey, Boyfie, which is what I call Mark. Hey, Boyfie, could you just give me a running update? Because I miss the running updates,
Yeah.
So he did.
I mean, Archer has refused to participate in this year's Pride 48 because all the other shows aren't going to be you. Because he really just wants to do a show with you.
Speaking of that, you've mentioned it a couple of times. I just want to say, because we need, first of all, Pride 48 live streaming weekend, Friday, September 15th through Sunday, September 17th, if I can do math. And you can register now, and it's the last one, the last regularly scheduled annual thing. And
what's the audio library that you use?
What?
The royalty for the paid royalty stuff.
Epidemic. I use Epidemic something or other. Epidemic something or other.
Sound. Epidemic Sound.
It's one of those things that I pay for and I never go to. But anyway, so we're having it.
I use your account.
We want everyone who has been in it before to do it. We want new folks as well. Right. By the way, I saw an email.
Yes.
I'm so bad. I have not looked at the Pride 48 email probably since last year's event. Mm-hmm. And my credit card was stolen or something back in, I don't know, May or April or something like that. And so I pay for the Pride 48 email, and it was supposed to renew, and it didn't because my card changed. So
yes,
I fixed all of that, and I went in there, and we have the sweetest email. He emailed me, he emailed you, he emailed Taylor, he emailed Big Fatty. And I'm going to respond to him. I haven't yet, and he was like, hey, I have a pup podcast and I don't see, and is that something that would fit in on the Pride 48 network and all this kind of stuff? But it was back in like February, or it was a long time ago. So now I think, oh my God, this guy's going to think we're just ignoring him. I don't.
Oh, wow.
And so
come back, pup.
I'm going to email him. So we have the event. We want everybody to do it. I would love it. I didn't talk to Daniel about this, but I know he's heard it because I said it on Geeky Gay, which is my show.
Yep.
I'd love it if we fill up the entire 48 hours for the last one.
It's crazy, Adam. We didn't even fill up the all 48 hours without some shenanigans.
I mean, I feel like you need to do a walking, getting coffee thing.
There was a lot of shenanigans. It wasn't,
whatever,
we didn't have 48 different podcasts. It was,
Anyway, so I
was trying to find a thing because you asked me you said, hey, I'm doing a lot of stuff for the Pride 48 weekend and you're not really pulling your weight.
I didn't say any of that. I just said, can
you maybe just write the promo? And then send it off to get recorded. And I was like, okay, I could do that. Sure. But, it goes to Auntie Scott and she's got to, digest it and then she's got to record everything. I'm like, I can just shortcut this because I can talk. I can just talk.
No, we need Auntie Scott to do it. He's the voice of Pride 48.
I made it. I wanted you to hear it. I made it. Let me see. I'm trying to find the, nope, not that one. Not that one. Oh my God, why can't I find hard rock on this stupid, hold on.
The Tom Likas Show.
There we go. All right, here.
Podcast fans, tune in to Pride 48, September 15th through 17th, as we play your favorite podcast and they get down and dirty in the mud.
That sounds like a monster truck ad.
Auntie Scott shoots flames out at 30 feet out of her mouth as she eats other podcasters. She's Podzilla. September 15th through 17th, pride48.com.
Isn't that great, Adam? Isn't that great?
That's great. I feel like it needs to be at some arena somewhere, at the Bank of America arena, and
Pride 48 Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing the Pride 48.
So we have a State of the Station this Sunday.
Yes.
Although I'm sure the show will not be out by then, but for anyone live, we have a State of the Station this Sunday at 6 p.m.
Sunday?
Eastern. This Sunday. Yeah.
Like the 23rd?
Yeah. I sent you a text message of all the dates.
And at what time?
6 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, great.
You know this. I sent you a text message and I said, do you approve these dates?
I know, but then in the meantime, then my sister said, hey, can you come over for dinner Sunday? And
invite her to the State
yeah.
of the Station because
I'll do it. I may do it from remote.
Okay.
But I'll be there.
Okay.
I can take my my small mixer and my mic and I can do it from her house. That's fine.
So anyway, we're doing that. Be there, be square. And if you're a podcaster, sign up.
Sign up. So we had this thing happen this week. And I'm debating on whether I want to talk about this on this show or whether I want to talk about it on the Level 13 show. I feel like I'm okay talking about it on this show because I don't think anybody listens from my office or from my work. But we got this email kind of out of the blue on Monday. And I feel like if I were to teach a class on effective communication via email, this email would be the one that I would use as what not to do. Like this is a stupid and horrible email, just in tone and construct. But the title of it is the Return to Office Update.
So you guys are returning to office because you're still full-time from home, right?
Yeah, we're fully remote. We were told, oh, well, we're gonna keep everybody's whatever you want to be. If you want to be remote, you're remote. If you want to come in hybrid, you can come in hybrid. If you want to come in full-time, you can come in full-time. So we all had the option. We all made the option. And anyway, so the return to office update. Well, first of all, nobody was asking for any a return to office update. You're acting like this is an ongoing conversation that we're having, right? Because this is the first we're hearing of it. So not an update. It's an edict, right? But basically, flowery prose, whatever. Hey, we're gonna do 3 days a week in the office, and then keep Wednesday and Friday open to work from home. For that flexibility that you want. And we're gonna do this, and we've identified these employees that are going to be subject to this, and that sampling of people are people within 26 miles of the company, of the main office.
26 is such a specific number.
I know.
Why not 30? Why not 25? Yeah. Why 26?
26. I think it's probably has to do with our distance to the coast. Like it can't go more than 26 miles in one direction because of the Gulf. So I think they just pick. Anyway, regardless, we are within that 26-mile bubble.
Oh.
So my boss had given me a heads up on this, and he had talked to me about it before. And one of the stupid things here is that my team, the team that I work with, I'm the only person on my team that is within this radius. So I'm not going in to work with my team in person, right? I'm going into an office so that I can make a Zoom, a Teams call, a video call out, right? That's so there's no of my immediate coworkers live anywhere near here, right? So this is kind of pointless. And my boss, who also is not near here, he's in St. Louis. So he's, it's kind of a, this is what they're trying to do. And, blah, blah, blah. Kind of feel me out to see,
Yeah.
am I going to pitch a fit? Right.
Yes.
So I'm like, I can hear in his tone that they've like pushed back on this, but this is what's coming down from on above. So I knew that like saying, trying to get out of it was not really probably an option. You know what I'm saying? So I immediately tack to just negotiate for the things that I can, right? So I'm like, okay, well, the thing that really annoys me is, at 10 a.m. in the morning, the office is 40 minutes away. At 8 a.m. in the morning, the office is an hour and 20 minutes away because of traffic. I have to work with team members in India, and I do that in the morning. So I'm fine doing this commute, but I'm not going to get there until after 10. Like I'm going to do my India commute, my India meetings here at the house. And then, I'll go in at 10 o'clock. So
Sure.
I'm not going to be there early. That's the thing. He's like, okay, great. And, so you can go in at 10, leave at 3. Right. So it's basically for 5 hours. So it's only like for 5 hours a day. Also, I don't believe that this is going to last. I feel like this is something that they're going to try and then give up on.
Oh, I don't know if it'll last or not, but the Spit Valve Factory has done 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And
But here's the difference. And I understand why Facebook and Walmart and the Spit Valve Factory and Target and who else? Amazon, people that are calling their people back in. I understand that they own campuses, right? It's like the Spit Valve Factory has hundreds of millions of dollars in actual real estate that they own that houses offices and stuff, right?
And
it's like,
they're building a brand new Spit Valve Factory.
Yeah. Okay. But my company, we just rent space. We just rent office space, right? We used to have multiple floors of this building, but now we're down to just like one floor there. But it's like, so what does it matter? You just rent. And it's like, you can, like, there is no, you don't have a bunch of unused potential just sitting there that you're paying for all the time. You're basically, you can get out of the rent. You can go to a smaller office. You already have, right? But this is the edict. But then this is where it gets more confusing because, as you know, my partner, Zach, works for the same company that I do.
Oh, so he can't negotiate at 10 a.m. maybe. Or
right. And so he is also swept up in this whole thing. Well, all hell breaks loose in his department because people are, I'm turning in my resignation. I'm quitting and blah, blah, blah. Enough of a ruckus that their department leader like pushed back and got what I feel like is the dumbest take back ever in an email. Here's the line. All right. This is the one line that I'm going to read from this email, right? Employees returning to the office on August 14th include those living less than 26-mile radius of the corporate office and those in specifically identified roles. Okay?
Okay.
So by that, you would come to the same conclusion that anybody would, which is everybody that lives within a 26-mile radius and other employees that may live outside of that radius that have specific roles that they've determined need to be done in the office, right? Would you agree?
Well, because you were telling the story, I heard it as everyone within 26 miles has to come in unless you are one of these roles.
Oh, no. It was in addition. So it's like within a 26-mile radius of the corporate office and those in specifically identified roles.
But that's not what they meant, right?
Well, it seems pretty clear, but what they decided was, no. We didn't mean that at all. What we meant was employees that have the specifically identified roles that also live within a 26-mile radius of the corporate office. So only people of identified roles are, affected. And of those people with those roles, only the people that live within a 26-mile radius are affected, right? Which got Zach off the hook because Zach talks to customers all day. So it's not like the customers come to our office, right? So it would be silly to require him to go to the office to make phone calls that he could make at home, right? Or team calls, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To host meetings and to do coordination stuff with, it doesn't matter where he's at. Anyway, so now Zach is excused from having to go.
Oh. Well, good for him.
But I am not. And I was,
I also find it ridiculous because I am also in a position where my boss is in California.
Yeah.
The engineering director that I work with, that's kind of my counterpart because I'm the product manager and he's the engineering director. He's in Seattle. Some of my team is in India, So there's like maybe 2 people that I actually work with that are actually in the office, here. And so when I go in, I'm on Zoom calls all day and I end up having to book meeting rooms because we have this open concept floor plan. So you have all these people around you. Also, they didn't give us assigned seating. So
this is all going to happen to me, right?
We're just doing hoteling. And so if you don't get in early enough, all the good seats are taken, and you're not able to sit with the team that is there that you work with. And it's ridiculous, but whatever. I mean, they pay me well, so I'm doing it, but I think it's ridiculous.
That's kind of my feeling at the moment is like, all right, there have been so many initiatives in this company that have, we're going to start doing this. And they do it for a week or 2 and then they get bored and they don't do it anymore. And I feel like this is going to be that. I feel like people are going to do it for a couple of weeks and then people are going to be like, well, it's going to be easier if I do this at home on Monday. So I'm just going to come in on the Tuesday and Thursday. It's like, and then at some point someone's going to be like, we're renting this office space for nothing. We could save money if we would just let them stay home, and then it'll go away probably. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I do know that, just outside of that, Zach and I have been looking at moving, to closer to Disney, which would put us outside of the 26-mile area anyway.
But will they let you move? I mean, because some companies would be like, no, you can't move.
Oh, yeah. But in other words, this has already been in the works. And my manager had already informed them of that. And it was like, okay, but there are a couple of my employees that are planning on, they're already in the midst of planning to move. So
I was aware you guys were looking at land to build a house, but have you switched to, hey, we're going to find a house that's already built, but that's closer to Disney? Or is it still, we're going to build a house on some land?
So I feel like this is a long discussion.
Okay.
And maybe we could put it as a topic for a future show.
Yeah.
But both, either or both, right? So the answer is all of the above. Anyway, that was my whole hybrid.
When does it start?
Story. August 14th. So I have another few weeks before I have it. And there's a certain amount of, I don't know if it's schadenfreude. I don't think that's the right term for it, but there's a certain amount of interest in watching it blow up. You know what I'm saying? Like I honestly believe that this is a dumb policy and that it's going to backfire. But there's a certain amount of excitement to just being there watching it backfire in person. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's just kind of, and I know that's wrong. That's the wrong reason, but it's one of those, I don't know. I just kind of want to see, the takedown, right? I want to see.
Archer says we will need an update in the future, and Kathy Marshall says schadenfreude from the people at the 27-mile mark. I just have a picture in my head of people at 27 miles kind of waving at the people who are at 26, hey, enjoy going into the office.
I know. Maybe it's a marathon. They only want people that can run a marathon to come into the office.
That'll be your new running update.
If I had to guess, I would say, our office is probably 26 miles from the coast, and they just extended it inland. Anyway, I don't know. You know what? They do a lot of weird things. Are you still hearing my space heater? I should turn that off. Making fun.
I don't know
go
if
ahead.
I'm hearing your space heater, or I thought my air conditioning was coming on. But anyway,
so no, tell me about your line in Stowe.
Yeah, so I'll do a mini vacation recap later in the show. However, on our first day, well, I guess it was like our second day, we were in Stowe, Vermont. Lovely, by the way, which has now flooded or something. Maybe not Stowe, but somewhere near Stowe, Vermont apparently flooded. And I don't know if Mark and I brought that, or although it was rainy when we were on our trip. So you don't actually bring weather with you, right? That's not a thing. I don't know. It wasn't rainy here, so I guess we didn't. We went on a bike ride. Yeah. Went well, it was, we had fun. There was, and we wanted to have cider. Because you're supposed to have cider when you're in Vermont. Yeah. Right? Did the bikes that you rented have big baskets up in the front of them? No, there were no baskets. Because I just feel like that is such like a Gilmore Girl thing. Is like you're riding with your beachcomber bicycle with the big basket in the front that's got a bunch of apples in it, and you got a scarf on and like little mittens, and you're just running down the street, and you're just like, okay, that's what I want to do. All right, step number 1, Mark needs to learn how to ride a bike. Step number 2, I need to book a trip to Vermont. Yeah. Step number 3, I need to get the apple cider and get the scarf, and then take a selfie right when I do the thing. Okay, so yes, exactly. It was an idyllic. We're in Vermont. Mark has been learning. Was this the reason that Mike learned? Mark, is this the reason that Mark learned to ride a bike? Well, was because he wanted to ride it in Vermont. No, not specifically for Vermont. We have been on vacations before. Yes. Where there have been biking opportunities, and he did not know how to ride a bike. So he said, hey, before our next vacation, I would like to learn how to ride a bike. And I said, okay, then I felt obliged to plan a bike ride since he had learned how to, and I just decided to do it in Stowe. I mean, we're not going to ride bikes in Boston. He's just learned how to ride a bike, and we're going to be going, riding a bike through Boston. If there was a 5K that I could find during the time that we were visiting you guys and Zach's mom and dad that time of year, I might be tempted to we could do this race. Yeah. Let's do this 5K. So anyway, we were doing that, and and we found a cider place. Because, everything, Well, yeah, because you're in Stowe, fucking Vermont. How hard is it to find a cider place? I get it. You're just like, all right, well, yeah. So we were we were in Daytona Beach, and we were walking, and we found a place that sold sunscreen immediately. We found a beach. Thank God we found some place that sold sunscreen. So this is not even the point of the story, but I'm getting it. So we wanted to have cider. We also had Vermont maple syrup on our breakfast that morning. Whole thing. I've always been just an aside here, and maple syrup purists are probably going to write me, or want to fight me about this. Yeah. I have had Canadian maple syrup. I have had Vermont maple syrup. I do not find a difference in between like a generic maple syrup that's probably and like Vermont. It's okay, fine, it's good. I like maple syrup, but it's not like, oh my God, it's Vermont maple. It's like whatever. See, but anyway, we did it. There must be a difference, because otherwise, then it would just be that things like that are just marketing ploys that mean nothing, and that can't be true. I mean, so there may be a difference, but they all taste like maple syrup to me. I mean, it's I'm not. Maybe it's like wine. I'm not a wine connoisseur. Maybe there are maple syrup sommeliers out there, and this is why I shop at Aldi. This is a Vermont. That's why I shop at Aldi. We go into this cider place. We rode our bikes up to this cider place. We go in, and this is Adam being the people pleaser that I am. So I'm like, hey, the girl's like, we have a bar. You go up and order at the bar. We have food as well, but you'll pick a table. You can sit anywhere and then just go up to the bar to order. So Mark and I, they gave us a couple of menus, and Mark and I picked the drink that we want. And then I proceed to go up to the bar. Now, there's at bars, there's that, the plastic mat thing that they put out.
Yeah.
That's only in certain places. And you like in a gay bar, that is where I would go and expect to speak to the bartender. Right. So I go there and nobody came over to me. So then I was like, oh, there's a cash register over there.
Yeah.
I had been standing at this mat for 2 or 3 minutes. I'm walking to the cash register, and this couple just butted in front of me. Right?
Really?
Yeah, I was on my way to the cash. I had been standing there. It was obvious that I had been standing there waiting to order. They butt in front of me.
Dare they?
I don't say anything.
Oh, you didn't say, excuse me,
no.
good sir.
Then so I get behind them like the people pleaser that I am, right? Then I see another bartender come up to the mat where I had been standing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I could go over there. Then the friends of this couple walk up to the mat and start ordering with that bartender. Again, I'm here standing in line. They can see me perfectly clearly. Nobody is even like, oh, you were already in line.
Yeah.
Here, and so now I'm just like, oh, fuck it. Yeah, whatever. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just being, nice.
Just fuck it. Whatever.
So then, and they're taking.
Fuck it. Wait, you said fuck it, whatever, but nicely.
Well, no, I didn't say it. I mean, in my brain, I said it. I was just standing there smiling, and no one would have known. No one would have known.
Fuck it. Yeah. Okay.
Then
I get it.
That's not the end of the story. Then they are taking forever. This couple. They're like
almost as long as this story.
What is it? Yeah, they're like, oh, what is what is this? What is that? Oh, they're ordering food.
The couple that cut you off?
Yeah.
They're taking forever?
They're taking forever.
Oh my God.
So then finally,
get
done. They get done.
Boiling.
Then they start walking away.
Yeah.
And this little 8-year-old little girl jumps up to the cash register and starts ordering drink for her family. Not even paying attention. And it's a little kid. Not only it, so I'm clearly, I don't know if I've become invisible. I have no idea. This
chat room wants to know why an 8-year-old is in the bar.
I mean, I don't know. She was young, 8 or 10. Yes. I don't know. I mean, it was a family on a trip to Vermont, and who knows? She wasn't ordering alcohol. She was like, I want a lemonade, and do you have a Shirley? Then she's like, he's like, well, we don't have lemonade here. We have cider. But he's like, do you want a Shirley Temple? And then she's like, oh yeah, well, what's a Shirley Temple? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh. And the guy, the bartender is looking at me like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Whatever the clearly is. I'm just like, oh my God. Am I invisible, or do people am I a doormat? And then finally, no, she was a child. Archer says, was it a little person? No, it was a child.
I mean, if they were little to Adam.
And so then I finally get up to the bar after everyone in the bar practically is cut in front of me. And then I go back, I take the drinks back to Mark.
We're sorry, sir. We're out of cider.
No. I got the drink.
We just served our last one.
I take the drink back to Mark, and he says, you really need to learn how to stand up for yourself. I'm like, Jesus, okay, everybody is cutting for me. I am just standing here being nice, just letting people get their drinks or whatever they want to do. And now I come back, and my own love of my life boyfriend, the only thing he can say is, I'm sorry that happened to you. No, it's, you need to learn how to stand up for yourself. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
This, if we were just to slightly change some names here, like change your name to Lorelai and then like Mark's name to, I don't know. I forget, Thomas or something like that. It would be an episode of Golden Girls. You do realize you just
it really happened.
It's like you're in line. I'm going to get some apple cider, and you're in line. You cut me off. Oh, well, I guess you're in a hurry. Well, and now they're taking forever. Oh my God. All I want to do is, thank God they're leaving. Hey, the little girl. Oh, well, I can't yell at a little girl because then I'll look evil, and I can't do that. And then you get up to the counter, and then she'd be like, I want 2 apple ciders. And they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. We just sold the last one to that 8-year-old. And that was, that would be an episode.
Or it's closing time. Oh, sorry. Sorry, sir. Yeah. So there you go. That was my experience. I got my apple cider finally.
You got your apple cider. Now, is this apple cider, is this alcoholic cider? Or is this
they had both.
Apple cider?
They had cider on tap. There was like a whole wall of taps.
Right, and I would assume that would be the alcoholic, right? The one that you would go like the
they
Strongbow.
Were both
like
in
if
the
I
tap,
went. Oh, so there's so they call it all cider. So
yeah, they had
has,
like fresh pressed apple cider, which was like non-alcoholic.
Okay.
And it wasn't apple juice. I don't know what makes it cider, to be honest, but
it includes the skins, I think.
I don't know. And it's fizzy as well. It's also fizzy, but I
always thought the cider just was fermented. I thought that was the whole thing.
Well, this was like a fresh prep. Maybe it was apple. Maybe it was fizzy. Because you can get cider at the store that's fizzy in bottles that's non-alcoholic.
Yeah,
so I don't know if it's the fizzy. Anyway,
we know how to make fizzy water now.
Well, yeah. But I mean, if the alcohol is what makes it cider, then how are they calling it? I guess they could. I don't know. It's like non-alcoholic beer.
Archer, who, as you know, is an expert in wine, says that they're 5 to 7% alcohol.
So Cyclone, I don't know who's correct. Cyclone says cider is pressed apples. Alcoholic cider is fermented with wine yeast.
Okay, so when you said fresh
what's the difference between cider and apple juice? Because I would assume apple juice is also just pressed apples.
No, apple juice is then filtered. Apple juice is strained. Like apple juice has nothing. It's clear, right?
It's
like
the color of
yellow
pea.
Right, but it's clear. You can see through it. Cider is brown because it's got pieces of pulp and stuff in it. It's like when you get more than just the.
Speaking of clear versus cloudy, I talked about this on Geeky Gay as well. I'm just going to say one thing.
One thing.
We had breakfast. I know you heard this story.
Yes.
It clearly said peach mimosa with peach.
Oh my God.
It had peach puree.
Yes.
They brought out, there was no puree.
No, they gave you
there was
peach Moscato. They gave you a peach Moscato.
There was no puree. And this waiter had
This could almost be like an episode of Seinfeld, right? Where George is like, there was no puree. There was no puree.
There was no
puree.
There was no puree. Anyway, that's it. That's my story. Fake movie tickets. What are we doing?
Now let's go back to this drink because what was the chain? Who was it?
It's a local thing. It's actually where we went. The Buttered Biscuit, where we went for.
The Buttered Biscuit.
Yeah. And we have a bunch of gift cards there. So we wanted to have brunch last weekend, and the place we wanted to go was not available for some reason, and so we went to Buttered Biscuit because
they gave you a peach Moscato. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's like whoever put that on the menu isn't there anymore.
Also, it was a brand new menu, like the menu that you and Zach saw. Like they had completely redone the marketing, new photos, they added menu items, like all this stuff. This was a special summer menu. It's like wonderful, fresh peach puree from summer peaches. There was not a hint of puree.
I was just visited by we have an executive producer on this show.
Yeah.
Who handles a lot of our technical things and
I didn't realize he
research
comes to
items.
your home and sets things up.
No, but
for
I'm
you.
saying I now have a line producer, which is Barley, my cat.
Oh,
He loves this office. We now call it Barley's office instead of mine. He'll be upstairs and if we're watching TV downstairs, he'll start meowing for us to come up to his office.
Oh.
So that we can pet him in his office. He just he loves this damn office. He's like but anyway, so he was here. I was rolling my chair around there and
okay.
So on video, if you saw me ducking down there, that was because I was talking to my line producer Barley.
Right.
Who was, helping me out there. So the fake movie tickets, I don't know. You probably don't follow these things or read these things. There's this movie out right now called, what is the QAnon Jesus movie called?
You know what? I just saw about an article about that yesterday that was recommended to me, but I can't remember the name of it. Isn't it about
Sound of Freedom? Okay.
It's
called Sound of Freedom. Okay. So, this is what happened. So Sound of Freedom is, a religious propaganda film heavily influenced by QAnon beliefs. And
in Arkansas, people are buying like the whole showing and then giving the tickets away.
That's what I want to tell you. That's what I want to tell you. So, churches and other groups are buying seats for this film for the sole purpose of tricking the media into reporting that it's doing really well, right? So like it's made almost $100 million domestically. And so they're like, those are the headlines, right? It's like, hey, this crazy, grassroots explosion movie, Sound of Freedom, made $100 million. This happens all the time with political writers. So when people write a political tell-all book or whatever, and they're always on the bestseller list, that's because a lot of these PACs will just buy thousands of copies of these books in order to inflate its importance. So then you're now, Adam Burns, author of Why Trump is the Worst Idiot in the Planet, and we'd like to welcome him to our show tonight. Now, you're a best-selling author, Adam Burns, right? So it's like by spending money to buy your own product to inflate your clout, right? You can then parlay that into other jobs, right? So I'm just like,
have you seen the movie?
No. But here's the thing. On TikTok, people start picking up on this, right? That the movie is listed as sold out. And the way people found out about this is they tried to buy a ticket for, a certain showtime. It's completely sold out. But then when they get to the theater, they go to another movie, but then they poke their head in the theater and there's nobody in there. So it's like, it's sold out. You can't buy a ticket to the show, but it's an empty theater that it's playing in front of. And then people started saying, hey, I was like one of only, I got the last 2 tickets for this show, but we were the only 2 people there. And so it's like, it's all these church groups that are buying up these tickets in order to inflate the value of this thing. But here's the thing. On TikTok, the crazy fucking right-wingers are blaming the theater. So they're acknowledging the fact that all these tickets are being listed as being sold, and yet the theaters are empty, right? Because it's affecting them who really do want to see this movie of, I couldn't go to the 7:00 show. I had to wait and go to the 8:00 show. But they're convinced that it's AMC that is doing it. Like AMC is blocking them from seeing the truth, right? It's just like, and I'm sitting there going, how dumb do you have to be to believe that a theater, which is teetering on its very, last legs of survival, right? AMC it was hit hard by the pandemic. People aren't wanting to go back to the theaters after the pandemic. The theater business is hurting really badly. There's no possible way that they would nope, sorry, you can't spend money here, right? It's like AMC will happily take that money.
Well, at the very least here, I read an article, and it was a local news organization, and they did say, churches and people are buying up these tickets to give them away, is what they said. Right. They didn't say oh, it's selling out and AMC, they said people are giving them away is what they said. But I don't know.
No, but now the narrative they're trying to push is this movie, this surprise independent movie made $100 million. I've seen articles, headlines that are like, it beat out Indiana Jones in the box office. It's like, yeah, it did, because Indiana Jones is like, it's the third week. I mean, it's not a really high bar, but they're definitely capitalizing on this, because as soon as it leaves the theaters, which I think it already has, you can buy it on their website, right? Like you can directly purchase the movie on their website. So they're just capitalizing on selling tickets to this.
Well, until yesterday, I had never heard of this movie.
Oh yeah, no.
And the only reason I heard of it is because my phone recommended the article to me. Like I have no idea why.
Yeah, no one should care about this film, and there's nothing being exposed in this film. It's all just QAnon bullshit, like protect the children, because Hillary Clinton and the rest of the shadow government drink adrenochromes, and so they need children for their fresh supply of adrenochromes. Go ahead.
Unrelated, except that a movie that I do want to see is Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me that if you like the show Hot Ones on YouTube, Melissa McCarthy was on there recently because she was promoting. It was so funny. If you like Hot Ones, you should go see the Melissa McCarthy episode. Anyway.
I will. I've never watched Hot Ones. I feel like
it's enjoyable. I find it's enjoyable. Some are better than others.
Huh? Is the premise that they're just eating hot wings and doing it while they're doing a normal interview?
Yeah. He's like, hey, everyone, this is Hot Ones, a show where we, I don't remember what he says now. It left my brain. But anyway, yeah, he literally sits there. They have 8 or 9 wings on a board, like on a charcuterie board.
Yeah.
And they're each different hot sauces, and it's supposed to get hotter and hotter and hotter as they go up. And as they go, he's asking them interview questions. And actually, he always gets compliments from the people being interviewed that these are questions that are they're very good interview questions. Like they're really well researched. He goes back to things.
I'll check it out. It's just on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
so
on YouTube.
I can check it out. All right. Speaking of YouTube, let's do this.
3, 2, 1. Contact is the secret, is the moment when everything happens. Contact is the answer, is the reason that everything happens. Contact. Let's make contact. 3, 2, 1.
Excellent. It is the contact segment of the show. This is a segment of the show where we read your emails, play your voicemails. Adam, do we have any emails this week?
I don't think we do. Wait a minute. We might. Hold on 1 second. Oh, a voicemail came in while we were recording. Well, only that Carrie requested level 13 access for the second
and she didn't get it. So I wanted to include that email there because if you've ever sent us an email at contact@mix-podcast.com and asked for level 13 access and didn't get an invite code back, it is because Adam and I are both horrible procrastinators and probably it got missed somehow. So if you didn't get it on the first time, then please
try again.
Try again. We're just morons. It has nothing. There's not an automated process to do it. We have to generate it and send you the reply email.
Do that. I bet I could do that. I say that.
You could.
And I'm going to procrastinate, not do it.
Right. You're not going to do it though.
I want to read the email though. I'm currently listening to episode 123. Zach was on episode 123.
Yes.
With Zach, it's fun for me to, quote, meet him. Hearing him and Daniel speak politics is bringing me back to the good old Call Box 7 days.
Call Box 7.
I also found it amusing that while listening to you guys laugh about being old, I'm sitting here cross-stitching like an old lady, too. Daniel, I never got back to you about visiting you in Florida because I ended up not going with my hubby. Maybe next time. And the concept of using ChatGPT to plan a Disney trip is genius. So.
Yeah, but don't do it because it wasn't very good at doing it. But you can go watch my other podcast, Don't Do Disney Without Us. We did a whole thing about that.
Without us.
Where are we at? Oh, we're at the contact segment. So let's get to our voicemails then, shall we? Hello. Oh shit, they're numbered.
Bacon, did Adam go on I won't call it a tirade, you come up with your own word for it. Did Adam go on a spiel about contemplating therapy to get assistance on his incessant need to people please?
Yes.
And then say, well, I can't talk about my vacay here because Daniel wants me to talk about it on the next.
I probably did. Well, look, I have a very entertaining show. What can I say?
You know what? Kathy Bacon is in an episode of Paw Patrol, which I had Paw Patrol as a
She's
topic.
in an episode of Paw Patrol?
Yes. If you are a member of Level 13, we'll do this in the after show. I'll take you on a tour of Paw Patrol because I'd heard of Paw Patrol, but
is
I never
she a
watched it.
voice actor and I didn't know about it? Or
I mean, she's an actual character on Paw Patrol. I'll play you that. We'll go through it in the Level 13 in the after show.
Auntie Scott
tonight,
is going to
so,
be pissed if Kathy Bacon is a paid voice actor.
I'm just telling you, she was in an episode of Paw Patrol.
Or
But,
maybe he
here we
wouldn't be
go.
because he doesn't like it when already famous actors get jobs as voices. That's
Right,
what he
yeah.
doesn't like. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
What? Ouch. Ow.
I was trying to.
What? Somebody's got a shitty cell
I
phone.
waited too long, and she's like, "Okay, bye." Bitch. Okay.
I don't even know who is this? I don't.
It's 2.mp3. I don't know. You've stripped out the
No,
the
I wouldn't have
information
known
down
anyway.
there.
I don't know. We don't know people's phone numbers, so
Wait, was that 2? Oh, wait, that was number 3. Number 2 was
Hey, I had a call back, Daniel. I have to apologize to
what?
you
Yes.
because you kind of felt bad, but not really. But it's okay. I was the one who called about the political show.
Yeah, you
number
hated it,
123,
yes.
which will ring in our hearts forever. But
Yes.
yeah, it was just a little bit too political for me. But that's okay because it's
Yeah, that's fine.
your guys' show, so you can talk about what you want. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought
just had to call back because then I felt bad after saying it.
yeah. This is definitely not Big Fatty.
You know, it's your show. Do what you want.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
still going to listen. I might have to fast forward through a couple things, but that's all right.
It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a Big Fatty.
No. I realize that now.
Tony in Illinois.
Tony in Illinois.
I don't know.
Oh,
I just
Tony.
always forget to put that on there because maybe I'm a phantom. I don't know. But, yeah. But Adam can still come back.
He is back.
It's the Adam and Daniel show.
It's the that's too close to the Adam and Maddie show. I don't think Adam would go for the Adam and Daniel show.
Did he just hang up and not say goodbye?
He did, but
Do
I
people-
think that's what the next call was. I think that one that was breaking up was him saying I called and I didn't even say goodbye or something like that.
You know, Adam and Daniel show works much better as Cyclone. Adam and Maddie, Adam and Daniel. A comes first. But what I was gonna say is, that is that something that people really do? Because so when I'm watching TV,
Yes,
and people are talking, on their phone,
yes,
they never say bye. They're just like, okay, I'm gonna go to the store or whatever, and
Yeah.
that's it. There's no
Yeah.
bye, and I feel like I don't know. I haven't recorded myself, and I don't know what I do because it's just habit now. And I also rarely talk on the phone anymore. But I feel like I say goodbye when I hang up.
I mean, I don't be that guy though. Don't be. I mean, like the when I lived in Connecticut and it'd be freezing fucking cold outside, and you go and you're like trying to get inside the building, and some asshole is holding the door open for you, and so you have to run to get there because you feel obligated.
Oh, I do that too.
The fucking door
I do that too.
But then you go through the door, and before you have a chance to do anything, the person's like, "Well, you could have said thanks." And it's like, "Fuck you, fuck you, you asshole! I didn't ask you to hold the goddamn door."
Well,
in the
I
first
always
place.
say thank you, so that would never happen to me. I always say thank you. But one thing I do on elevators, which I think some people do as well, is I will, if no one is there, quickly hit the button that closes the doors, hoping that no one comes up to the doors before, you know.
I mean, now I'm having flashbacks to those Royal Caribbean elevators. There was like getting mobbed by people throwing things at you. It's just like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, you got so mad at somebody for getting in and not squishing themselves. No. They got in and they
and then they
took
tried
up
to
all
like
the
block.
space.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I did.
And you said they could have made
injustice
room.
kicked in.
There was plenty of room for people.
There's plenty of room. It's just fat ass. So just move.
All right, let's get to our next phone call here.
Hey, P.S. Daniel, good
Yes.
job on doing the Geeky Gay all week, because I would have very little to listen to on the way to work or on my way back.
I feel like I was political on that show too, though.
I just wanted to throw that in there also.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank
for
you.
doing that.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, Adam thanked me briefly for doing that on his show.
Again, I didn't realize my thanks were being timed. Like I didn't know that was a thing.
It's not. It's not a thing. Not a thing at all. Let's get to our next phone call here. Wow, we got a lot of phone calls. Okay, let's get through these. Hold on. Yes.
Hello, Daniel and Adam, or Adam and Daniel.
Hey, yeah,
This
Adam
is
and Daniel.
Michael in
Yes.
San Diego. First-time
Michael.
caller, long-time listener to Mix Minus Dubious Intent.
Wow, he sounds
That
good.
darn Elvis, as well as Throwing Down, and
wow.
yeah, that dadgum geeky gay show. I wanted to thank Daniel for filling the void felt during Adam's long northeastern sojourn.
It was, yeah.
Daniel, you brought a freshness and an interesting blend of topics to the shows that week.
Why, thank you.
I also really enjoyed yours and Zach's political discourse on the June 30th Mix Minus episode.
Did you pay him?
Tony
But in
Illinois.
particular, I wanted to thank you, Daniel, for editing down that darn geeky gay opening theme, as it really helped to move the show along.
It did.
But, you know, I had another thought. You know,
Yes.
the part of the opening theme just before Adam usually starts to speak where there's 3 short beats?
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering how it might sound if those 3 short beats were at the very beginning of an ever so slightly shortened opening theme.
Yeah.
I know this is a lot to ask of you, Daniel, but I have a feeling you're up to the challenge. Thanks, Adam and Daniel, for all that you do. Okay, I'll take my answer off the air.
Okay.
Michael
thank you.
in San Diego, out.
Thank you, Michael in San Diego. I will do that on the level 13 on the after show. I will clip it down a little bit further. Here's the thing. I not a lot of people heard this. I wanted you to hear this though, Adam.
Yeah.
To shorten your theme song, I had to. You can't just chop it because there's an inconsistent drum presence in the song. So when you right after that first verse, it's a while before the drums start. So if you cut immediately to that baby, I'm not, baby, I'm not, baby, I'm not, there's already drums there, and it's a very harsh cut. So when I first trimmed your song down, it was a very harsh cut, right? It was very, very clear.
That's
that,
probably why I didn't do it myself. I got that far and I was like, no, that sounds like crap. And I just stopped.
So then what I did was I thought, okay, well, to solve that, I'll just add some drums in. So I actually pulled it into Audition, and I had to figure out the BPM of your song. So
Won't it analyze it or something? Isn't that a
there's a
feature
plugin
of-
that I can do, but I just use the metronome. I just typed it. And so anyway, in case you're curious, your song is at 128 beats per minute.
I would have
so
guessed
then-
around 120 because the way you do that is John Philip Sousa. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 or any of his stuff. That's 120. Anyway, there you go.
Anyway, then I went into GarageBand and set a 128 beats per minute time, and then picked out a drum track that was okay for it, and then brought that back into audition and synced it on the beat with the other, and then faded it in so that you don't hear the harshness there. So it probably took like a good 10 minutes to fiddle around and get that thing edited. So but let me tell you, it's so much nicer because you don't have an emotional attachment to that theme song. Like it doesn't, the words don't even mean anything that have to do with your show. You just liked the setup, and I get it. Songs like that are great, where there's a very clear spot where you can go in and make
that's what I liked. I did.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is like, but you don't. I mean,
I didn't even know what the words were for the first.
So the only thing that I would do, if I wanted to take it one step further, would be to cut out the remainder of the first verse. So it's like, baby, I'm not running around, and then take out the whole looking for nobody else. No, I would keep that. Baby, I'm not running around looking for nobody else. I would take out that next part, like that
I
next
got no
line.
something, ring the bell.
Yeah, I already hear the bell or whatever. Yeah, it's like
yeah.
I would take that out, and then so that would give me another 4 seconds or so. But it's a huge difference, man. It is a huge difference.
Look, I'm using it. There you go,
I know.
folks.
Thank you very much. Thank you for using it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anyway, in level 13, we'll play with that and see what we can do. Anyway, here's our next phone call.
Hey, Adam and Daniel.
Hey.
It's Jimmy Bear.
Hi, Jimmy. Hey.
Sad to report that Tony Bennett will not be down for breakfast. Have a good day.
Thank you, Jimmy
I almost
Bear.
didn't have this up.
I thought he was going to make a bad dad joke about Tony Bennett. I'm kind of every time when you hear him, don't you kind of expect that like Jimmy Bear's going to give you one of those bad jokes? Like every time I hear, I'm sorry, Jimmy Bear, that's your shtick. So when I get a call from you, I'm just like, oh, good, it's gonna be a Jimmy
he only
Bear
does
joke.
bad jokes on Big Fatty's show, right? He doesn't call every show. Like he's never called this show and given us a bad joke. But yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he has.
Has
He's
he?
called and given us a bad joke before. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I specifically asked for it, but yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, he's called his show before. I'm just saying, I don't listen to Big Fatty. I mean, I listen to the Little Fatty Cast, but he doesn't call it the Little Fatty Cast. Nobody calls the Little Fatty Cast because it's a stupid way that you have to call them. It's just like...
I just want to tell everyone, speaking of Big Fatty,
yeah.
So far there has been no registration from Big Fatty for the September live streaming event. I want all the Big Fatty listeners to call into his show.
Uh-huh.
And tell him you want to hear him as the opening show, the first show, because it's the last live stream. And he was on the first one. He should do the last one. Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone call Auntie Scott. Call into his show.
If Auntie Scott called, he would
and tell him you specifically want to hear him in the beginning. Okay.
Wasn't he on a cruise of a lifetime for the last one? Yeah, he did. He did miss one. Anyway, what were we doing? Who said what?
We were playing voicemails, and that was Jimmy Bear.
That was Jimmy Bear, and I didn't get my joke. Yeah, okay. I think we're in the right place. Okay, next one.
Adam and Daniel, this is Gary in Portland.
Yes.
Tony Bennett at age 96 just dead.
That is true.
Y'all are on tonight. I'll listen to you then. Bye.
I wonder if Lady Gaga cried.
I know.
Didn't they do a whole, for the past 5 years or something, they were doing albums and touring together.
But he has Alzheimer's, so it's like it was already, he was forgetting a lot of things, and like he could remember to sing sometimes. But
that's not funny. Sorry.
I mean, you know what? As a survivor of an Alzheimer's patient, sometimes you can't do anything but laugh. I mean, it's an absurd.
Daniel, would you like some water?
It is an absurd, cruel disease. And what Adam is referring to is that when Adam met my mom, she would come out and being a good Southern host, she was like, "Would you like some water?" And we're like, "No." And then 5 minutes later, "Would you like some water?" And we're like, "No." And then my nephew shows up, and then when she says, "Would you like some water?" he was like, "Yes." And we were making fun of him for saying yes. But then when she brought it to him, he's like, "Yeah, but now she sees a glass of water in my hand and she doesn't ask me in 5 minutes if I want a glass
true.
of water."
That's true. I mean, he
All
was
right,
the
here
pro
we-
because, right?
That's right. Yeah, he was. I was like, yeah, here we go.
I'm beginning to think death.
Yeah.
Rewind.
Okay.
I'm beginning to think Mixed Minus died.
Why?
Just kidding. I know you guys have lives. That's great. I'm happy that you live them. Enjoyed the sit-ins or whatever. The,
Yes.
the
Fill-ins. Yeah.
Zach and Daniel show and
Uh-huh.
the Auntie Scott and
Yeah.
Daniel show. But anyway, Tony Bennett, Bacon, Woodhaven. I'm out of practice. Oh, Woodhaven.
You already said Woodhaven. You said Woodhaven twice. Yeah, she is out of practice. She said.
Did
Woodhaven
you
twice.
guys get any Sydney Bacon calls while I was out?
No.
So I guess she's done with us.
Yeah. Well, or she's like Archer and she only listens to
I mean,
you, Adam.
she got Barista of the Month, and that's it. No, she's like, I'm
I
done.
believe it's pronounced barista, Adam.
Barista.
And here's our final. This is our final call, right?
Number 10 is our
Yeah.
final call. Yep.
And that's where I'm at, right? Number 9 was Kathy Bacon, right?
I don't.
To think.
Yeah. Number 9 is Kathy Bacon. Okay, so number 10. This is what happens when you number them. I can't remember what the number I just had
Scott
was.
707, Tony Bennett, Woodhaven.
Scott 707. What is that? Scott in Illinois? Is that 707 area code?
I don't know.
Scott.
But is he not Scott?
707,
Is that
Southern
not?
California? Let's see.
That's Scott
Area code 707
in Northern
is-
California.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
in Northern
Scott,
California.
and we have more than one Scott, so I label
I
them.
know. That's why he said 707. It's Scott in Northern California.
Yeah, but he can't say because that's not what he used to say. And then I'm like, then I'll have a Scott Northern California and a Scott 707.
But we've fixed it now. We fixed it.
Yeah, I fixed it.
We fixed it. It's fixed. He doesn't have to call in again. But yeah, they're executing the very difficult shortest phone call trick there and doing so flawlessly. That was a 2-second phone call, so we appreciate that. All right. September 15th through the 17th, that is going to be the last live streaming weekend event that we're going to do on Pride 48. Also, importantly, that's when we're giving away the big prize for the celebrity death phone. So Adam, what is our current tally at? One person
we
is
are
going
at,
to win.
Surprisingly,
Yes.
we are at $85.
One person is set to win $85 at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen. And the only way to make that pot bigger is to make sure you call us anytime a celebrity dies. A few caveats. It has to be a celebrity that we have heard of, that we actually know who they are. Also, you cannot be responsible for the celebrity's death. So you cannot kill a celebrity in order to get entered into our contest. And the way it works is when you report a celebrity death to us, you are entered into the contest. And if you are the first person to report that celebrity death, we increase the pot by $1. So that's all how it works. Anyway, you can always give us a call. 707-61-DEATH is our phone number, or voicemail.mixminuspodcast.com.
3, 2, 1.
Contact.
All right.
So I just want to say, nope, I don't, because I did it wrong. I was putting in an inflation calculator, and I think I did it backwards because I was expecting. Because what I was going to say is, in 2009, when we started Pride 48,
Yeah.
that $85
Oh,
would have been
yeah, it
worth
would have
$120.88.
been- Wow. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. $2,009. That's going to be,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, that's a lot. Hold on to it.
Or is it the other way? Is it worth $59 and
Yeah, it would be the other way.
Would it be the other way?
It's worth more now. I mean, I'm assuming it's worth more now.
well, $85 in 2009 would be $120 today.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
So, yeah, all right. We don't know what the fuck we're doing, people.
I don't know.
Why would we? We're just morons that speak on the podcast. Tell me about your vacation. You took a vacation. You were gone for one whole month.
Yeah, the vacation
What?
was only 8 days.
What the fuck did you do for an entire month?
So I'll try.
I'm not in the 1%. Let me just take my 1 month vacation.
It was 8 days. We did get upgraded to first class on one of. Oh my God. I don't know if I talked about this on Geeky Gay, but by the way, I don't remember. So if I did, I'm sorry. I am a platinum American Airlines Advantage, frequent flyer, whatever member, right?
Are you going to bitch about the order that you're called?
I'm group 3. I am group 3. Platinum is group. Look, they do this group 1. And they give like 15 minutes for the first class people to get on. Then they're like, group 2, 3, 4. I'm like,
there was no puree. There was no puree.
I'm like, damn you. I want a special call out of 3 and I want you to wait because you know how people are at those lines at airplanes. They like rush. It's like a bull, like when
I want is to get called in a timely manner and to have my peach fucking puree. I don't understand why you people aren't getting this.
Okay, so anyway, day 1 we went to Ben and Jerry's. Mark thought it was too small. The factory was too small.
Yes.
Day 2 we had the Vermont maple syrup for breakfast that could have been Aunt Jemima's or whatever, and we did the bike ride. So that was it. Day 3 we went to Martha's Vineyard and we sat in a van. I mistakenly booked a 3-hour tour that was in a van the whole time.
3-hour tour.
And the guy just talked. I mean, it was interesting stuff, but we didn't hardly get any time to actually experience Martha's
not
Vineyard.
Like we did in Alaska, where we did the bus tour in Alaska. They weren't letting you out and roaming around for an hour.
It was right. Yeah. We got out for like 5 minutes one time, and the rest of the 3 hours was him driving us past things, saying, whatever. The weather I missed that. So we were Kathy Marshall, sorry.
So you're sure it was an actual tour?
What? I'm going to keep going because I don't even know what you just said.
Hold on. Are you sure it was an actual tour, not just some dude with a van?
No, it was a tour. I mean, we went through, so
if you look over there, that's where my friend Dave lives. And, Dave once told me that the secret to life was that there are no secrets.
So it did rain actually. So day 2, we also were supposed to do the New Hampshire drive. And and it was foggy and raining when we were driving. So, and it was all like overlooks and hike to a waterfall and like all this stuff.
But you shared one story specifically for this show. Cause I know when you were talking on your show with the Jobitans that you said, no, I'm saving that story for,
and I don't remember what it was. So that's
was there something to do with pancakes? Was that a story that
it might have been it might have been the story about waiting in line.
Oh,
it could have been.
Well, I enjoyed the episode of the Gilmore Girls that you had there.
So anyway, again, quick, Martha's Vineyard, it's quaint.
Tell me a fun fact about Martha's Vineyard.
Oh my God! Like Obama has and Michelle have a house there. You know what? The tour of Martha's Vineyard is basically them pointing to houses and telling you what famous person lives there, right?
So Martha's Vineyard just has houses.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and a bluff and some lighthouses.
Like, does it have a shopping district or?
There are 6 small towns, Daniel. They are quaint little villages. There's no high rises or anything like that. It's an island. All the rich people have summer homes there. The population decreases by 70% in the winter. So 70% of their residents are rich people who have summer homes. So anyway, we did that. Then we went to Boston. We drove back to Boston, and then we did a food tour, which was lovely in Boston in the morning. We did a Freedom Trail tour. The tour guide, she was so dramatic, Daniel. She'd be like, and the 3 of them hung. And then she would turn on one foot and like walk the other way. She wouldn't even tell us, okay, we're going to the, she'd be like, they hung for it. And then turn. Anyway.
So, I mean, that she probably gets better tips.
She was very dramatic. Yeah, she was good.
Oh, isn't that dramatic? She's so dramatic.
But it was,
oh my God.
It was
Harold,
raining.
did you see that? Get a photo of her, Harold. She's so dramatic.
It was
Oh
raining
my God.
though. So that was, and then the fireworks, we had purchased seats. I think I posted a photo somewhere. We were sitting right on the edge of a dock. I mean,
that, yes.
right on the edge of the dock.
I think you and What?
I said, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I said. Go.
I thought you said wait. And
No,
so
I
I think you and I have similar experiences on the fireworks.
I have never had that happen.
No. I'm saying you've seen a Disney nighttime show. Fireworks are just boring now. It's like fireworks are just yawn, give me something else. So even though you could only see the bottom half of them.
The bottom half, it was ridiculous. And the thing is, it had cleared up. It had cleared up 10 to 15 minutes before the fireworks. The clouds roll back in as if somebody didn't want us to see fireworks on our anniversary. Which, by the way,
probably AMC theaters. They probably don't. They don't want you to see the sound of freedom, and they don't want you to see the fireworks.
Boston Pops was lovely. Then we drove to Maine. I would skip Portland if I was anyone. I did. I have nothing nice to say about Portland.
I gotta say,
yeah.
If someone wanted me to go to like a Boston Pops concert,
yeah,
I might prefer to kill myself. Than actually
but
do that.
see, I'm a trumpet. I know you used to play trumpet.
It
but
would be a very close.
You played
contest.
trumpet at one point, but let's be honest.
Yeah.
To call you a trumpet player or a trumpeter would be a bit of a stretch.
No, that would be. I played trumpet in high school. Yes.
Anyway,
however, my preferred trumpet style is jazz, not.
I like classical. I'm not a jazz person.
I feel like the Boston Pops is just Americana, and I detest Americana.
Of course you do. So then, anyway, Portland, I mean, it's fine, but I mean, I felt like there was nothing special in Portland. We went to Acadia. Here is a story I was going to tell here.
Good. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. All right. Hold on, everyone. Let's get ready now. Let's get ready. Here we go.
We go to this restaurant. We get into Acadia. Bar Harbor. And we check into our hotel. We go into town.
Yeah.
And we're going to have dinner. And we found a place that had a really nice kind of a tapas menu. So Mark got some scallops and lobster roll, and I got some, I can't remember what I got. I was going to say oxtail, but it wasn't oxtail. Ossobuco, like on toast and like some other things. I ate seafood, by the way. But anyway, so this lobster roll that he ordered, there were 2 little lobster rolls.
Yes.
The server brings them out, and one of the lobster rolls is teetering. Okay? Teetering. Now we're sitting outside on just picnic table looking things. I mean, they've made it's a garden area. There's a roof, but I mean, it's a like one of those iron tables that whatever. And
a garden table.
And she goes to set it down, and this lobster roll is teetering. It flips over, and all the mayo and lobster are against the table. Like they've completely fallen off on the table. Then she scoops it.
Wait, all the man and the
mayonnaise, the mayonnaise and lobster.
Mayonnaise.
Okay.
Mayonnaise.
Go
All the man
onto the,
and the,
onto the table. She uses her hand, not glove, just her hand.
Just her hand.
To pick it up and put it back on the board. And then she's like, oops. And then she just walks away. She doesn't offer to give us a new lobster roll. I mean, the lobster roll has tumped out onto the table. And she's picking it up with her bare hand on the mayo and lobster part, not just the bread.
Right.
And
so what did you do?
You know what? I was nice. She walked away. And so I ate the one that touched the table and I gave Mark the other one. And
my God.
And then when the waiter came back, I just said, our server, because she was just like expediting the food or whatever. She wasn't our.
Yes.
So our actual server comes back at one point and says, how's everything going? You know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, everything's fine. But this lady who brought out the lobster roll, it completely flipped over onto the table and she didn't even offer to get us another one. I said, I ate it, but I just wanted you to know because I didn't think that was a nice thing to do.
It was kosher. Yeah.
And, or a good thing to do, not even hygienic.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went to Acadia National Park the next day. Yep.
But you could have not eaten it and had the same conversation with your server and they would have brought you a new sandwich.
Well, people pleaser me ate it. And then later the Karen part of me was like, damn it. We're paying good money for this, and it clearly touched both her hand and the table. And it wasn't like we were indoors at a table that had been, freshly cleaned. These are like these picnic, garden tables. They're dirty.
Squirrels could have pooped on them.
And so anyway, Lamont says, did the server apologize or offer you anything? I mean, he barely apologized, but he did give it to us for free. So.
Well, there you go.
I mean, he didn't get down on hands and knees and like beg my forgiveness. But
so what you're saying is that there is an acceptable length of an apology.
No, that's not
an acceptable length of a thank you.
That's not what I'm saying at all. So Acadia was lovely. We did the loop. And we saw lots of overviews and overlooks and all that kind of stuff. And we had lunch. We had popovers, which is basically a Yorkshire pudding, and went at Jordan Pond House Restaurant. Very lovely.
I don't know what either of those are. So what is a Yorkshire pudding?
I think you'll have to Google it.
So you can't give me an example of something that it would be like. Like I feel like that would be like, oh, you know what Gouda tastes like? Gouda tastes a lot like camembert. But you're like, but I've never had camembert, so I don't know what you're. Well, okay, well it's So tell me, what is a Yorkshire pudding?
No, it's like it's a batter. Okay, so they make a batter.
That's the pudding,
and then they take any kind of oil, but usually it's some kind of like beef tallow or something like that. They put in these popover tins or Yorkshire pudding tins, but think of a muffin tin with a flat, instead of being like, like triangular, like a cupcake. It's like up and down, just flat, just conical. Yeah. Not conical. It would be cylindrical.
No, I understand. Yeah.
And they put that in the oven and let it get piping hot. So the oil is like really piping hot. And then they pour the batter in there and it puffs up. And then they put it in the oven and finish cooking it. And it's very crispy on the outside and hollow in the middle.
And it's just bread.
It's just bread. It's called a popover or a Yorkshire pudding in England. Same thing.
Right.
And then we went to Salem, and this is all I've got to say. I'm very interested about the witch trials. This is why I wanted to go to Salem.
Mm-hmm.
6,000 reviews of this tour. Okay? 3-hour tour. Again, 3-hour tour. 6,000. 5 stars this company has.
5 stars. If you can't give me 5 stars, then I'm going to need for you to tell me what. Give me a chance to make it right, because I need...
This girl, this tour guide girl, she spent, and I am not lying, Daniel, she spent 20 minutes at the first stop.
You know you're doing the Joe Batanz.
No, I'm not. She spent 20 minutes at the first stop. She talked, and there was no drama. There was nothing. It was almost like she was reading a book. It was 3 hours of this bullshit.
Now you wish you had Mrs. Over Dramatic. So wait. So you were upset at the one because she was too dramatic, but
no, I wasn't
this
upset.
one was
she
not
was
dramatic
great. It was
enough.
just raining. No, she was great. I love the drama, but also she took so long. This family had a 2-year-old boy with them. I don't know why you would bring a 2-year-old boy on a narrated tour of Salem, but whatever.
Clearly, because he's a witch.
It was so boring and long. This little boy peed on himself. I mean, it was running down his legs onto the cobblestones of Salem. Our tour guide kept going. She was talking about the bouncy dance floor in this George Washington house or whatever it was.
I mean,
and
she
this
gets paid
kid is
minimum wage and tips.
This kid is peeing on himself. It is like gushing down his legs, and she doesn't miss. She keeps going and giving her, and they proceed.
So what you're saying is not the first kid to piss.
Also,
during my 3-hour tour,
this was. Again, because her stories were so long at every stop that we had. We probably had 5 stops and it was 3 hours. It was so long. The kid had time to pee on himself.
Yeah.
And they had time to clean him up and change his clothes all before she finished her story and went on to the next stop that we were going. It was crazy. Anyway, we had a lovely dinner in Boston and then went home.
Did you leave a bad review?
No, none of those did I leave. None of those bad things did I leave bad reviews.
Why?
So,
because here's the reason why. No, here's the reason why you need to do that. Is because you called it out, right? You called it out. It got 5 stars. It had 6,000 reviews. So it's like if you go and put in your bad review, you're helping future Adams of the world who are going to look at that and go, well, there's 5,000 good reviews. And oh, wait, what's this one bad one? And then they would go and read your review and you'd be like, it had 5,000 great reviews, so something must be weird because it really sucked. And you would save someone the money of doing it.
It's true. I should do that. Oh, and she even gave us her name at the end, like, oh, leave a 5-star review or whatever. And I don't remember her name. So I would love to say, if you specifically get Tiana, then she is boring. Jump ship. How do you make the witch trials boring? How do you do that?
It's easy. You get a job telling people about the witch trials every single day, and you've heard it 6,000 times. That's how you make it boring. It's probably because
that dramatic tour guide in Boston ruined it for me. She was so good.
That's what it is.
That any other tour guide is going to be. No, we had a tour guide in Italy. Fantastic. The Colosseum. I don't remember her name, but she was so good. Anyway, that's it. That's a trip. We had a good time. It was a great trip.
Just to clarify, you did not go to the Colosseum on this trip.
No, Italy last year, our tour guide.
I was just like, I'm just missing. Now you're going to be going on another trip, right, to Reykjavik. When is that happening? When is that happening?
We are going. It's August.
Uh-huh.
August the... I believe the 8th. We fly out on August 8th and we'll be back on the 19th. So I will miss, again, 2 weeks worth of shows, the 11th and the 18th.
The 11th and the 18th. Well, as it happens, I'm actually camping on the 11th. So and I'll miss the 11th also.
We're also going to London, and I realized the other night that I have never had a fancy tea. I lived in England and I wish I would have known
this because at Disney at the Grand Floridian they do high tea every day. You can
I would appreciate that because anything from you I would appreciate. But I'm saying we're going to be in London, and we can go to Kensington Palace and have high tea. So we're going to do that. Lamont Cranston, I would like you to leave the room.
I know. It's a shock to me also. I did not know that Adam lived
it was pertinent for me to bring that up.
It's one of those things that you never talk about, though. It's why it always catches me by surprise each and every time you bring it up repeatedly.
I had 2 British boyfriends.
And every time. All right. We need to move along here by doing this. It's the news game. What questions will he ask? It is the Mix Minus news game. This is the segment of the show where Adam will ask me 5 questions from the New York Times news quiz. And I, using only my head, brain, and mouth words, will provide the answer to those questions. These are multiple choice questions. I am allowed to ask for the questions. I mean, for the answers. You know, what the choices are. You get what I'm saying.
That's good. I'm glad I don't make you, guess the questions.
I'm allowed to ask what the choices are if I get stuck. Or if he does one of those, which are the 4 following things? And then, of course, I have to know.
Look at the photo and tell me.
Look at this photo. Anyway, after I get all 5 of these questions correct, I'm sure, we go into a bonus round where Adam will read me as many questions as he can off of a Trivial Pursuit card from 1972. So, Adam, what is the first question on the old news game this evening? Also, I'm going to be typing here, but I'm looking up the 60-second timer, not the answer to this question.
On Wednesday, Phoenix had its record 20th consecutive day with a temperature at least what? What temperature? Well, at least it was at least what?
I have an idea that
so it's going in increments of 10.
Yeah.
You're saying it's over what?
Yeah, I feel like it's over 100. But I think at 120 airplanes don't fly, so I don't. So it would have to be 110 then. So 110, and I'm not saying that because Cyclone typed that in to the chat room. I would think it would be over 100. If it goes
that is correct, 110 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what is the
Let me give myself a ding since you didn't give me a ding.
I did give you a ding.
We're not hearing the ding. Excuse me, we're not hearing Mr. Burns' ding.
You're not hearing the ding?
No, nobody is hearing your ding.
Huh. That's interesting.
It's curious, isn't it?
Okay. Well, then just imagine there was a ding. I
played the ding. There we go.
Okay.
Question number 2.
Donald Trump received a letter informing him that he could soon face federal indictment for what?
He could soon face federal indictment for trying to steal the election, trying to stay in power after the election. Trying to steal the election? What are my choices?
Ding.
Was that a ding? Oh.
Seeking to hold on to power after the 2020 election.
Yes. So he was just indicted on the January 6th stuff. There are some Georgia things coming in, but that's not what he hasn't been indicted. That's not a federal indictment. That's a state. Anyway.
Russia announced this week that it was ending its participation in an agreement, I can't do a Russian accent, that had allowed Ukraine to export what good by sea?
I have no fucking clue.
Okay.
What are my choices?
Your options are cane sugar, grain, microchips, soap, or tea leaves.
I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna say grain, but I did see the chat room said wheat, so I'm going with
ding.
Grain.
That's correct. With the release, number 4, with the release of, quote, Speak Now, Taylor's version, Taylor Swift now has more number 1 albums than any woman in history.
Yes.
Which artist held the previous record?
Oh, that I don't care for her, and people, I'm sure, are going to be angry about that, but it's Barbra Streisand.
You're right. Your choices were Adele, Barbra Streisand, Beyonce, Madonna, or Whitney Houston. But yeah, Barbra Streisand is correct.
Yeah, I've never cared for Barbra
So
Streisand's music.
Cyclone says Mariah Carey, and I will just say Mariah has the most number 1 singles.
Not albums. Yeah.
Not albums. Although she's either tied with the Beatles or she may have passed them. I'm not sure. But anyway, number 5. The president of what university said this week that he would resign after an independent review of his research found significant flaws? Which
Stanford.
university?
Stanford.
That is correct.
Let the record show. I said it before Cyclone typed it. All right.
That's
so
5 out of 5.
That's 5 out of 5. Adam, I don't even need this bonus round, do I? No, I don't. But I'm going to play it anyway. So let's put 60 seconds on the big board.
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
What Mississippi River city gave the world Chuck Berry and T.S. Eliot?
Louisiana.
Incorrect. What Woody Guthrie song goes from California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to Gulf Stream waters?
This land was made for you and me.
I'll give
This
it to
land-
you.
it's called-
This
it's
land
called
is
This Land.
your land.
Oh, yeah, this land is your
And the answer to the first one was St. Louis. What 2 European states enjoy observer status at the United Nations? European states, 2 of them.
No idea. I would never get this.
Incorrect. Switzerland and Vatican City. How many degrees of longitude does an average time zone span?
2.
Incorrect. 15. What company buys more sugar and vanilla than any other in the world? Company.
Somebody that makes ice cream. Borden? I don't know.
Incorrect. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. I don't understand the vanilla part, though. Why would they?
Well, I assume they put vanilla and sugar in Coca-Cola.
All right. Well, I got 5 out of 5.
I think you got
with the
1
help.
on that one.
Yeah, I got 1 on there. So there you go. Adam holding straight. Yeah. Even though I didn't take a month off, I did take a week off. And still have that mental acuity, Adam, enough to get that news quiz correct, even though the chat room was typing in the answers on a lot of those questions. But, who's to say that I read it? We need to go through this quick, man, because I need to.
The reel to reel is going to run out of reel.
I know. I need to use the bathroom. I have to tinkle. Adam, each and every week, our executive producer, Cyclone, sends us an enormous tome of information, things that have happened on the day that we are recording of some other year. These are all things that happened, Adam, on July 21st, the day that we are recording the show, of some other year. You get the bit? You understand the premise?
I get it.
All right, it's from the Mix Minus Research Center Archives and Test Kitchen. Adam, today is National Junk Food Day. I feel like
it is.
I feel like you said it was National Junk Food Day like a couple of days ago.
No, I said it today.
You used it today?
I used it today, because
this bit is ruined now. Ruined. There's no puree. There's no puree in that, Adam.
Yeah, I didn't have Cyclone's file, and so I didn't know which one he used. Because he sent his file late this week.
All right, well, tell me, what else? What else have you already spoiled?
No, I can't. I can't see. For some reason, Google is not letting me preview the PDF. So I can't see it.
On July 21st in 1980, Enzo Francone, a 32-year-old Italian in Moscow for the Summer Olympics, chained himself to a fence in Red Square to protest the Soviet persecution of homosexuals. He was dragged away by KGB officers. And that officer's name was Vladimir Putin. No,
I also repeated National Lamington Day. Yeah, go ahead.
July 21st, 1950, the Disney short Pests of the West, directed by Charles Nichols, is released, starring my favorite character, Pluto. So
I was going to say Donald Duck, right?
No. Anything else here that you see that you want to jump out at?
Specifically in Disney or just...
No, just in the document at all. 1865. Yeah, go ahead.
Wild Bill Hickok fights first Western showdown.
Wow. July 21st, 1925, the trial of the century draws national attention. You know what the trial of the century was?
Daniel, yes, I do. School
Scopes-
teacher John
it's the
T.
Scopes
Scopes is
monkey
convicted.
Just call it the Scopes monkey trial. Take the W. Let's go on. Yeah, NASA. What is it, NASA? Oh, the final space shuttle mission ended on July 21st, 2021.
You know, the final Harry Potter book was released in July 21st of 2007.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
2 years before the first Pride 48. The Weekly World News from 25 years ago. This would be from July 21st, 1998. I feel like the Titanic twins have been around before. Like, I feel like this is a repeat. Didn't we?
I don't know. It could
talk about the Titanic twins.
We've been. You know what's happening? You know what you accused me of doing on Geeky Gay?
What?
You said that I was going to start repeating what day it was because have we hit a year?
We've hit it
from the time that Cyclone started doing this, and we're getting recycled. The
High-tech
twins.
mechanical man invented by team of female scientists. New robot will replace husbands by the year 2010.
Well, that's data.
I know.
They didn't use.
Took a screenshot from Star Trek and used it.
Wow, it is amazing how young he looked when he started.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Versus the way he looks now. You don't even realize it because it's progressed over time.
I mean, you do kind of realize it now because he's very old now. But Adam, a whole bunch of people have birthdays on July 21st, and we would like to say happy birthday to a few of them now. Happy birthday, Rory Culkin. You've turned 34.
They all look the same. It is like they're twin. Macaulay, George, and Rory, they all look so similar.
Josh Hartnett turned 45. And John Lovitz turned 66. Cat Stevens turned 75. Let's see. Who else? Those are the ones that our producer called out. Let me give a quick browse of the list here. God.
I'm not recognizing
I don't know any of these people.
Damian Marley?
George Wallace.
No
George
idea.
Wallace, 71.
I feel like Brandy Chastain is somebody. But I don't know. Robin Williams is dead.
Yeah. Well, so I know Robin Williams, Don Knotts, and Ernest Hemingway, all of who are dead, but were born on July 21st. So
is Edward Herman? Was he in the Munsters, or is that just because the guy's name is Herman?
No, that was Fred Gwynn. Anyway, from all of us here to all of you there, well, at least the ones that are alive, happy birthday. All right. Let's see. Go ahead, Adam. It is yours.
Oh, I feel like we've gone so long. I can just talk about that.
No, weird. I was trying to cup that. We've got a lot going. No, go ahead. Go ahead. We got time.
I was gone for a month.
I know. It's fine. It's fine.
So, I don't know if Scott the Satyr still listens, but I know he doesn't listen to anything over an hour. So he wouldn't hear this anyway, right? Does he just cut it off, or does he pick it up later and do another
I don't know.
hour?
I don't know.
You know?
Unknown.
I feel like I know how to podcast now.
Okay.
I feel like I am I could probably go out and get a low-paying job.
Yeah.
As a podcast producer.
Okay.
Or an editor, or whatever.
Probably not in Arkansas, but yeah.
But I mean, or like freelance on Fiverr or something. I mean, I've been podcasting for a long time. I know how to do it. Blah.
You do. You should talk to Archer.
So today,
maybe you should produce his show.
So today,
yeah,
I was in this meeting at the Spit Valve Factory, and they bring up this new guy is I don't know people's titles, Daniel, but he's like right under the CTO.
The head spitter.
He's like I don't know people's titles, but he's like very high up, but because I'm also so high up, he's only about 3 levels above me. But
rarefied air.
We're in a meeting with him. We're meeting him for the first time, a bunch of product managers and a couple of engineering directors and whatever. And he's like, we're talking about this internal developer portal that we're building.
Yes.
And he's like, we need to figure out how to create content that really drives traffic to the, and he said, we need to add multimedia. We need to do video. We need to do audio, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And my boss knows that I'm a podcaster. I mean, they all talk about my mic because it's in the shot on Zoom calls and stuff.
Yeah.
And she says, well, and he's like, we need to start doing video. Maybe we could do interviews with like different people that the developers would want to hear from, and we'll put it on the site and we'll yada yada. And my boss says, oh, Adam is a podcaster, whatever. And I'm like, and this guy, and I don't know why, but I am so afraid. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this because there was a time where I was talking about starting a podcast at work.
Yes.
But I think the reason I didn't do it is I feel like, what if I suck? And like doing a podcast at work and everybody, I'm so afraid to like suck and not be able to, oh, I've been podcasting for 15 years, blah, 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 blah. And then I try to do this corporate podcast.
Yeah.
And it is horrible or something.
I feel
and so
like,
I'm afraid to do it. Like I'm afraid to try.
So I feel like a corporate podcast would largely have to be interviews, right? Because
and I don't like doing interviews.
Right. And so this is why at what I'm doing with my job, right, is I'm in the same boat, right? It's like, oh, I could do this as but what kind of podcast would we do at work? There's no opportunity there really. Because it would just be interviewing, and that means I'd have to interview people, and I don't know that I'm good at that.
The Spitball Factory has our own radio station.
Yeah, but I am good at talking. Right?
Yeah.
So my shtick is I'm like, well, what if I could just take some technological issue, some piece of technology that we use or whatever, and just do a little explainer video, a little 5-minute video about it. And I call it 5-Minute Fridays, right? So we just do every Friday, which is like, hey, you want to tame your team notifications because they're driving you crazy? I got you covered. 5 minutes. And then, you like show them, here, you want to tame this, and this is why they do these notifications. And then bada bing, Bob's your uncle, and you're set. Right. Like, and you can do them for pretty much every stupid little thing that we do because people just never get taught how to use, these cloud-based office systems change all the time. There's new features all the time. And of course, nobody tells you that there's new features, right? So
most people don't use them. Yeah. My boss was just saying today, oh my gosh, I found this thing called lists in Teams.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I can't count the number of times that someone has said, I found this third-party thing that, it'll listen into our meetings and do a transcript and everything after. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually built into Teams. You can turn that on and have Teams do that for you. Oh, wow. I found this third-party thing that lets you draw on like a whiteboard. I'm like, yeah, it's in Teams. You can just do that in Teams.
We don't use Teams for that, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying, is like people that are just,
we
people,
use Zoom.
Let's go use this survey maker or whatever. I'm like, we have Microsoft Forms. It's with our license. You can make way better forms. Just go. Anyway, it is not important. So what happened?
No, that's it. I mean, it was just, that's it. I mean, that's all. I'm just saying, and now I feel fear because I feel like on Monday I'm going to get, hey, that thing we were talking about, you should start working on, whatever to put on the, creating that content for.
Then just hope that it's not, I feel like that's the way to go. The way I said was the way to go.
Well,
because that feeds into your strengths. It's just you're explaining something and it's already written out ahead of time. And so you're not having to ad lib or speak extemporaneous. I mean, you wrote it or whatever.
I mean, I can ad lib, but yeah,
no, I'm just
for
saying,
that I would write it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then you can do screenshots there's all kind of software to do that for you. So it's like, what's that new one? Like Scribe. It's like you run it and you go and do the whatever. And every time it thinks it needs a new screenshot, it's just doing the screenshots and putting them in order as you go along. So it's like an automatic snapshotter of a process that you're doing so that you can make a tutorial.
Right. So Archer says, Adam, do they know the podcast that you do? Well, no, I mean, I haven't given them the name of the podcast, but I did. I even went so far as to say, I am a co-founder of an LGBT podcasting network. I didn't like give them the name or anything. So, but I, whatever. I mean, they could look it up. I'm an adult. I can do whatever kind of podcast I want.
Have you ever Googled that? Have you ever Googled Adam Burns podcasting?
No, but my parents found geeky gay videos on YouTube. So
Adam Burns podcast. If I do a Google search for Adam Burns podcast, the very first thing that comes up is a link to a site called Listen Notes, and it says Geeky Gay podcast, Adam Burns.
Oh, well, there you go.
The number
Then
two
they all know.
result. The number 2 result is Geeky Gay on Apple Podcasts. And then your Podchaser, and then Player FM has Best Adam Burns and Daniel Brewer Podcast 2023. Podcast Critic Adam Burns.
I feel like for the most part, I've mellowed out, and the Adam and Maddie show is not available online anymore. So I feel like anyone listening to recent episodes of Geeky Gay or our show, I don't think I say anything so outrageous that I'm going to get fired, And I don't say the name of my company anymore. So.
Wow, I'm not the first result. Daniel Brewer podcast. Well, yeah, it is. I mean, so it comes up with Podchaser, which is Daniel Brewer's podcast credits and interviews. And if you click on that, that is my Podchaser page.
Okay.
But it's not up to date. I haven't kept it up to date. But that is the first Google result for Daniel Brewer podcast.
Podchaser sounds like Chubby Chaser.
But here's the weird thing. There's another podcast called The Big Breakfast with Daniel Brewer.
Huh?
It's a series.
So I was saying that there's somebody else at my never mind.
It's an Australian one. Somebody else at your spit valve?
No, it's fine.
All right, you know what? We haven't ended
we're
the
done.
show yet.
We have not ended the show.
It was like we
I'm
forgot.
reading
We've
the
just
chat
already
room.
moved. Yeah, we've already moved into the after show without even ending the show. I'm so sorry. Adam, welcome back. I'm glad that you're back.
Thank you.
Jesus, that's loud. I hope that you stick around for a few weeks before you run off.
This is the thing.
Again.
If I do like a podcast for work and it's like this.
Yeah, who would want to listen to that?
I'm like reading the chat room.
If you want to send us an email, you can do so. Our email address is contact@mix-podcast.com. You can also send us a voicemail, 707-61-DEATH, 61-DEATH. Or you can go to voicemail.mix-podcast.com on your browsing device and click record there. It'll sound better. That's what I'm told. Anyway, Adam, glad you're back.
Glad to be back.
At least for another couple of weeks before you jet off again, and then.
That one's gonna be like 2 weeks, so I'll be eating pickled herring or something. I don't know, what do they eat in Iceland?
Norway? I only know Norway.
Iceland? Gefilte fish.
Gefilte fish?
I don't know.